This is Western Buddha, and today I feel like we need to break the ice about this whole uh, ice, ethnicity, diversity, all these labels that make no sense. So, for a while now, well, maybe not a while, but like a couple of years back, I thought to myself, all these crimes talking about like poor communities committing the most crime, but almost every crime that was committed, the offender was usually some college age white guy, 57% of the time was a dude that was committing a crime. And not just uh, one particular crime, one of the most unchristian, uncatholic, unholy crimes. So right here, you get to see a study of like 57 were white men, 16 were black, due to a lot of black people spending time with white people. 12, same thing, but then again, they already had like a very tough culture. Hispanic 11, getting there, and 2.5 other races. And I know this is making more about these, like I said right here, it says like 74% offenders of production of you know what, and involving for travel for prohibited sexual contact were white, and 27 were black. 61.3 offenders in cases involving criminal sexual abuse were Native American. Surprisingly, I don't even know how they even get this Native American crime. Honestly, they have their own like reservation, and then the same thing with Native Americans, 65%, and then another one with Native Americans. So yeah, Native Americans definitely do be committing a lot of crimes. And then, but in Australia, this is just something I thought to myself, if I was in office, I'd probably ship these particular people to Australia, the capital of such a thing. It says right here, around 1 in 6 Australian men report sexual feelings towards children. Oh, and this isn't like an old study. This is 2023. So, around 1 in 10 Australian men has sexually offended against children. Approximately half of this group reports sexual feelings towards children. Yeah, I mean, if you want to pause it and read it, it's pretty disturbing. Just reading this alone. I'm primarily white, and then here I looked up, I believe, the new studies for like crimes, and it was like black Americans. Of course, it's getting there nowadays. And then I looked up another one in disproportionate representation of certain racial and ethnic groups in arrest and victimization groups indicates that white individuals account for the largest percentage of arrest. However, black individuals are overrepresented in arrests relative to their proportion of the population across many crime types, particularly violent crimes such as murder and robbery. For example, there were more than white individuals involved in murders, white offenders, than black individuals. Wow. See, so kind of makes you wonder, like, wait, hold on a minute. I thought black people committed more crimes than white people still. And let's continue. And then I looked up serial killers because I was like, you know what? There's one thing that every serial killer has had in common, and that was right here, where 85% were male, 8% were female, and the sex was undetermined in the cases in which the offender was still at large. In addition, 82% of American serial killers were white. 82%. And then 15% black, and then such and such ethnicities. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. White individuals constitute the largest racial group among transgender adults in the United States. White guys. So if you go back to the whole Australian guys, I'm not saying Australia and America have the same culture, but you kind of have to ask yourself, wait a minute, there's a lot of white guys over there too. And not only that, a lot of white people kind of commit a lot of the crimes too. So it makes you wonder, why in the world would these guys want to be a girl? Just ask yourself the question, Yeah, which one's this one? Oh, yes. This is because I heard about the whole white communities, and I was like, oh, the new white community that was popping. I asked about it, like, oh, memberships? Because they have memberships. And I was like, that's kind of fucking dumb. And it says here, yes, there are some communities and organizations where membership is paid monthly, and some of these may be predominantly white or explicitly white only. And I was like, so if you can't pay the bill, you can't pay the membership monthly, you're probably going to get kicked out. Kind of fucked up. I don't hear no other ethnicity getting kicked out. And then I looked up antidepressant, who uses the most. Basically, white individuals, use antidepressant the most. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, if the therapist is prescribing these things to people, who's running the pharmacies and therapy? And it says white pharmacies represent the largest group according for the majority of pharmacists in the United States. Wow. And then you have the Asians are the second, and then third underrepresented, and then they're not even Latino aren't even there at all. I don't believe in that. And then this is the therapy one in 2019. So this is like relatively old, but still relevant, pretty relevant. 83% of psychologists in the United States were white. So you have white people that are depressed, and you have an entire industry that is basically milking the victims or said victims. And they're both on the same side. Kind of fishy. This is Legion of Men, Tribe. He's a dope guy. That's him. I like what he says about, dating and passport bro thing. Like, I think he's correct about all of it, But when it comes to crimes, specifically immigration, I feel like he's a fucking idiot. Definitely somebody who needs to do his research. Like I said, I'm not saying all white people are bad, but... Oh, shit, not that one. Oh, no, not that one. But 57% offenders were white. So, yeah. Kind of like half the population, in a sense. I don't know. But anyways, recently he made this video. I mean, not recently, but I try to keep it in the page. But I remember watching this video, and it was the generation before the boomers, 1950s and 1960s families. And they're just basically talking about like, oh, boomers are spoiled, what and what, whatever's, fucked up generation. And I kind of thought to myself, wait a minute, what about the whole movement of, what was it, teenage rebellion? There was like this whole juvenile thing of like, oh, if you don't know how to control your kid, send them to this boot camp. And I was like, huh, because there was one thing in particular in this video that said like, if you, it was basically trying to indoctrinate everybody. They said like, oh, if you don't know how to control your kid, you send him to be controlled somewhere else. Some shit like that. I forgot what the fuck the saying was. But then I looked up this notorious school. The Elan School was a controversial therapeutic boarding school that operated in Poland, Maine from 1970 to 2011, catered to adolescents with emotional, behavior, and adjustment problems, offering grades 8 to 12 in a full year program. Based on counts from former students and sources documenting the school, the daily structure was highly regimented and railed heavily on a confrontational behavior modification program inspired by the therapeutic community model, including elements from Sion and Daytop Village. Fuck, it doesn't even say shit. But basically, oh, here it is. Controversial allegations of abuse. The school faced numerous allegations of mistreatment throughout its existence, including physical and psychological abuse, leading to investigation and criticism from state agencies and former students. Closure. The school closed its doors on April 1, 2011, with the owner citing declining enrollment, financial difficulties, and negative internet campaigns as contributing factors. So basically, the school was literally abusing kids, and it was basically the worst. Like, there's literally a good video from this guy, his YouTube channel, Nexpo, and he makes a pretty awesome video about it. It's pretty disturbing hearing about kids getting abused. Well, I shouldn't even say abused, being literally tortured. There was another one called, I think, Oakland School of Boys in Florida, some shit like that. And one disturbing aspect of that one was there was a building that the boys, because it was a full boys school, they feared going to this white building. They call it the White House. And it would be completely silent when, kids would go in there. But once kids came out, they would be like, they looked like they got jumped, basically. And there was one story where kids, I forgot what they were doing, but they were looking at the White House, and the teachers, or one of the teachers, was carrying a kid, princess style, out of the White House, and he was kind of like in a hurry to hide him, basically. And then I believe a month later, they found that kid's body in a water filter, water boiler. I don't know, but he was basically found in there, and they just said oh, he must have fell in there by accident or whatever. But a lot of the boys in that school basically are suspecting that he was most likely placed in there to hide whatever they did to him. Pretty disturbing. Oh, and then I was looking up like, oh, who cheats a lot, and it was basically saying like boomers cheated a lot, which makes sense. Like if you look up like a lot of serial killers, like a lot of serial killers that go to these juvenile like boarding schools that I just mentioned, bro, they were like literally like having sex with each other for like daily basis. Anyways, and then African Americans are disparatory, and then oh yeah, it's just like what race is most likely to be homeless. It was basically black people. But yeah, definitely I would say this: white people definitely have a very very cool culture. That's for damn sure. It's not a maybe or anything like that. I definitely do think that white people are definitely ruining America, and that's just a fact. From them committing murder, grape, scamming people, hell, even cheating. I mean, for God's sakes, for a country that says under God, I feel there's been more cases of people, primarily white, who cheat on each other despite the Ten Commandments of thou shalt not commit adultery. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not saying we should villainize. We should not make all white people black. I mean, all white people bad. But at the very least, have some white people acknowledge the fact that, yeah, we have a fucked up culture and we need to change this. Because the reality of the situation is, bro, America is more Chicano culture than anything in the world. I mean, well, not anything in the world, but more than anything in this entire like culture. Chicano culture isn't just about gangs or Mexican gangs or whatever. Chicano culture was about style. It was about finding a place where you belong. I mean, almost every single immigrant, from Asian, Hispanic, uh, Pacific Islander, to even I don't know what else, but every other like immigrant has literally the same story of like, yo, I was born here, and when I went to my native land where my parents are from, they didn't like me, and when I go back to the States, they don't like me here either. And that was basically Chicano culture. It was a culture of immigrants, literally a culture of immigrants. And yet America isn't a country of immigrants. It's a country of crime. You have politicians taking money from cartels. For God's sakes, you literally have a president who's a pedophile running the country, and everybody's still okay with it. All you hear is, well, it was better than we had last time. It's like, what? So we're just going to hear every single bad person? Ted Bundy said watching adult film makes you kill people. Are we going to listen to Ted Bundy? A dude that just hated women? I don't know. But yeah, watch Legion of Man. He's a dope guy. I love his improvements on for manhood. But when it comes to culture, I think he's really stupid. And if you watch this Legion of Men, just know, much love, bro. Just stop talking about immigrants. All right, laters. Peace.